Hey, what is up, Internet? Kyle here, Slapshot Toys, doing another Hot Toys action figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look from the movie masterpiece series, the Spider-Man Homecoming tech suit Spider-Man figure. Now, I actually did pre-order this originally through Sideshow Collectibles. I ordered the deluxe version. Unfortunately, they were having a lot of delays getting that version of the figure in, and I actually found this at Big Bad Toy Store in stock, the standard version of the figure, so I just went ahead and picked this one up. I've actually had it for about a month, so I'm super late getting my review out. I just haven't had a whole lot of time to do reviews lately, but finally getting back into it, and I really like this figure, so I can't wait to show it off to you. So let's not delay that any further. To the light box. And here is Spidey out of the packaging, looking absolutely amazing. Overall, my first impressions are aesthetically, this is one of the best looking Spider-Man figures I have ever seen. Unfortunately, there are some issues I definitely have with it that bring it down just a little bit, but I will get to that in just a little bit. First, let's go ahead and take a look at the accessories that this figure does come with. First thing I'll take a look at is going to be the standard dynamic stand that we get with almost all Hot Toys Spider-Man figures. I really like this base here. It has that kind of little tech suit design with all like the little circuitry and stuff designed all throughout there. Really like this kind of Spider-Man head. You got the nice Spider-Man Homecoming logo right there. The plaque looks very nice. You got Spider-Man with a little Spider-Man silhouette hanging upside down. It does say Peter Parker right there, and it has a nice little cobwebs. And then you do get the nice dynamic stand that is extremely posable. Unfortunately, the figure is not that posable, but we'll get to that here in a second. We are given 5 full sets of hands. So we have these kind of open clutching hands, the wall crawling hands, the web holding hands, the flipping hands, and then 2 closed fists. So you have a ton of options when it comes to the hands, and these things are all sculpted out absolutely beautiful. I love the texturing that you get on these. I mean, all of those just absolutely love the texturing. You get all those like little bumps all throughout the suit. It just looks so cool. The paint work and the line work here on like the little cobwebs, those look stunning. I mean, just how small of a detail it is, but I mean, the paint apps came out so clean. Really like the little triggers for the web shooters. Those look really good, and those are on all of the hands that you can actually see the palm. But just the texturing and the paint on these hands are all phenomenal. Now we are also given, as far as like little fun accessories, we are given this really cool backpack. This is like a really nice kind of like almost like nylon material, but I mean, just the detailing, all the zippers work. You have like all the stitching all throughout here. You even have like the little side net right there. You can put something in. This thing just looks really cool. You can open this. Like I said, all these zippers do function, but there's actually just like some like little kind of cotton in there just to give in the backpack the form. And then if we go over here, you do get very nice bendy wires here on the strap, so you can actually kind of form it to Spider-Man's body. So it actually fits on the figure very well. And then believe it or not, like these little adjustments actually do function, so you can pull the straps tighter to his body and those type of things. This looks and works extremely well. Next thing I want to take a look at is going to be the little Science Today book, and this thing looks really cool. It's all individual pages, and if you actually see here, I don't know how if you're actually able to read this on this or not, but it's actually the warnings. So this product is not intended for ages 15 and up, or this product is intended for ages 15 and up. So they actually on each page just rewrote the little warnings on the box over and over. I mean, it's just such a small little detail, but it's so freaking cool. We are also given this little mask right here. This thing looks really cool. A ton of detail all throughout the fabric. Once again, you get that nice texturing detail. It just looks amazing. All the cobweb effects look really good. The only thing that really sucks about this is none of these hands can actually hold this for the book. So I don't really know, like really the only thing that comes close are these hands, but unfortunately they're so wide open, it just doesn't really seem to fit them all that well, and it doesn't like bunch very well. With the homemade suit, you actually got a specific pair of hands that you could really bunch it up and get it in there really nice and tight. Unfortunately, unless you get it like here's not too bad. Yeah, so like it basically you have to play around with it, and if you can get it kind of under that pinky or just kind of shoved in there the right way, you can get it to stay. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit hard to do, which kind of sucks because I would kind of like to every once in a while have this pose with an unmasked sculpt on holding this. But it's just not that easy to do. Next up, we do get the little Beats headphones, or just headphones in general. I don't just guess they're the Beats style, but these look really nice. Yeah, get some nice kind of texturing right here to give it that kind of like foam leather look. But other than that, not a whole lot going on. and I don't think there's like any way to adjust these or anything like that, but it does look really, really nice, and they do sit on Peter's head very well. And the last thing we are given are the little wings from Peter's suit, and these things look really nice as well. They're actually magnetic, so they just kind of clip right on to Peter when you have the arms extended. But these things look pretty good. I wish they might have been a little bit more translucent. They're pretty kind of not very easy to see through, but I mean, they're detailed nice. I will probably never use these in any sort of display, but it's a good option to have. And we are also given 5 sets of different eyes, so they're basically all the same except for just different states of openness. So you get a really wide set, which I actually have on the figure, but these things look absolutely fantastic. I mean, just all the sculpting detail, like the lenses and everything all around it just look amazing. I love that like little kind of honeycomb carbon fiber effect you get on the eyes. Actually, my favorite right now are the extremely wide open because you get the best look at that. The only ones that I'm not really a huge fan of are these insta-kill eyes. And that's only because the red is just, I mean, you get that little red dot and you get a little bit of a kind of a red tint there, like immediately around it. But it's just so, I don't know, so dark. It's really hard to see, even in good lighting. It just doesn't come through as well as I would want it to. But you do get these insta-kill eyes. You get these extremely squinted eyes right here. You get some slightly open eyes, which is this guy right here, and then you do get the ones I showed you at the beginning, which are the open, and then you do get the extremely wide open, which I have on the figure now, but you'll see that when I go over the details on the figure. And then the last accessory are the webbing, and these are the exact same webs we got with the homemade suit version of the figure. And the last thing we are given is the unmasked Tom Holland sculpt, and much like the homemade suit, I think this is absolutely brilliantly sculpted. I mean, this thing just screams Tom Holland, everything from the nose to the mouth to the eyes. It just looks fantastic. I love all the details there on the skin tones. I mean, this thing just looks so real. The only thing I wish that they maybe would have done a little bit different is to give him a little bit more of a lighthearted kind of maybe smirk, something to kind of capture like some of Spider-Man's little bit funnier moments. I wish that Hot Toys didn't always do these really serious faces, and I kind of also wish that he was looking more straight on instead of there off to the side. I think that would have just been a little bit nicer to have as far as a posable option, but overall the sculpt is absolutely amazing. Taking a closer look at Spidey himself, really like this mask. I think the texturing looks fantastic. These are the extremely wide open eyes, and like I said, I absolutely love these. I love the cobwebbing effect. I think that like line work looks fantastic. The only thing that I have an issue with this mask is, see if you guys notice it, is the seam basically running from the forehead, and if we look over here all the way to the back of the mask, and that really, really sucks. Like, I don't care if it's back here, but the fact that it runs all the way up here, halfway down the forehead, it's one of the few things that I kind of, every time I look at it, that's what I see. And I know they probably would have ruined like the little black line work here, but it'd been nice if they could have gotten it under there so it didn't, so maybe hit it just a little bit more. But that's the only thing that does kind of suck, in my opinion, about this mask, is that it does have that seam. Then every once in a while I kind of gotta move it around, try to get those lines just a little bit straighter, but that's my personal OCD. But actually coming down here to the body, I think this looks absolutely amazing. I love the colors that they used. I don't think they could have gotten a better red and blue. I love all the texturing detail that we get throughout this figure, and it's really nice. So you get this kind of really nice kind of cottony fabric, and then for the blue you actually get a nice like kind of, it's like almost like a stickier, almost kind of like spandex, but these are two different materials which work really, really well together. I love all the little paneling design and everything all throughout here. I think all this line work looks wonderful. I love the little kind of rubber texture here throughout the little black accents. You get the little kind of canisters right here along the belt. I think that looks fantastic. Once again, you get the really nice kind of cobwebbed effect throughout the figure. I think that looks wonderful. You get the web shooters right here, and those are detailed out very, very nicely. Once again, you get those awesome details there in the hand. Coming to the back of the figure, you get this amazing spider logo right there, and I love the texture that they put throughout there. That looks absolutely wonderful. Coming down here, not a whole lot going on, just more of the paneling kind of line work. And then coming down to the boots, you get more of the kind of rubber texture right there, and then more of just that detailed texture going throughout the feet. And at the bottom, you do get the little kind of sporty tread and the different copyright information. Taking a closer look at the articulation on this figure, this is where I feel like the figure fails the most, especially after looking how good the articulation was on the masterpiece that is the homemade suit version. Now there is a very, very big warning actually in the instructions saying do not keep this figure in any sort of dynamic poses for too long, as you will damage the suit. And if they actually have to put a big warning like that, then you know it's not going to be the best articulation. But as far as the head, we actually do get pretty good rotation here side to side. It can actually go all the way around. Now, one thing in the instructions is it says to lift the head up and rotate. That way you don't get the fabric on fabric rubbing there along the neck, because that will damage the neck. Just basically you're going to hear a lot of kind of warnings, because this is a very fragile piece that you definitely don't want to mess around with and get that rubbing, and you don't want to damage the suit at all. So yeah, you can go side to side, just make sure it's looking up before you do it. He can look up a decent amount, and he can look down just a little bit. There's not, I would have liked a lot more than that, but that's about as far as you can get it. And you do get a little bit of a weird gap there at the back of the head. And there is a little bit of a head pivot right there. Now, as far as the arms, they do actually work very nicely. They will go a little bit more than 90 degrees to his body, and then they do kind of have a ratchet system, as you can hear there in the arms. They have that in the legs as well. As far as there is a cut up here in the bicep, so that does rotate. He is double jointed here at the elbows. Unfortunately, that's about as far as it will go, and there are also warnings saying do not go further than 90 degrees on the elbows, even though they are double jointed, as to, once again, not damage the suit. There is rotation here at the wrist, and they do hinge up and down as well. Now, as far as the diaphragm, there is rotation here at the hips. There is an ab crunch that works pretty well, and then he can go back actually a very good amount. As far as the legs, you can go about that far before you start getting some major pulling there in the crotch area, but then you also get this like kind of weird bunches right here. The legs are kind of hard to work with, just because you get a lot of weird kind of bunching in the suit where you got to kind of flatten it out and pull it out. So be careful with that. But yeah, you really don't get a whole lot of kind of split range of motion because of the suit pulling so much. It can kick forward a good amount. So actually a pretty good range of motion there, but you do get some weird bunching right there. And then as far as kicking back, he can kick back a good amount as well. Once again, some weird kind of bunching though. Now there is a cut up here in the upper thighs, so that does rotate, and he is double jointed here at the knees, so that works really, really well. And then as far as the feet, they do hinge up and down. There is ankle pivot. They do rotate. So that is going to do it for my review of the Hot Toys movie masterpiece, Spider-Man Homecoming Spider-Man Tech Suit version figure. Like I said at the beginning, I love this figure as far as the coloring, as far as all the details on the suit. Aesthetically, this is one of the best Spider-Man figures I've ever seen. I'm so happy to have it in my collection. But there are a lot of issues with the articulation and a lot of the things that you can do with it. So if you're looking for a Spider-Man figure that you can really kind of pose around, get him in some really cool dynamic swinging poses, really make him look like Spider-Man, this probably is not the figure for you. This is a figure that basically, this is as far as I'm willing to push it. This will probably be the most dynamic pose I ever get him in, just because I don't want to damage the suit. And there are so many warnings in the instructions. There are so many like little things that could rip, tear, just damage so easily. And like I'm already starting to see kind of some permanent wrinkles and things like that throughout like kind of the hips and waist and things like that, just messing around from the short little bit I have. And that's a little bit of a bummer, because I think with how flexible and how posable the homemade suit version was, this could have been an absolute home run for Hot Toys if they could have somehow figured out like really how to get the suit to work well with this figure. Unfortunately, it does hinder it just a little bit. So if you're wanting just kind of more of a museum pose, I highly, 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 highly recommend this figure. I do believe he's a little bit hard to come by right now. I believe most retailers are sold out of him. But if you're able to find him, he's definitely worth it in my opinion, and especially if you're like me and maybe you started collecting Hot Toys after Amazing Spider-Man 2, so you haven't gotten any real Spider-Man figures to come out. This is my first Spider-Man in the normal suit, so I am super So I'm super happy to have it in my collection. So if you're looking for something along those lines, this is definitely a hot toy to pick up. So once again, that is going to do it for me this evening. I want to thank you guys so much for checking out this video. It really does mean a lot to me that you guys are watching them. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought of this review, what you guys thought of this figure. If you guys own this figure, I'd love to know your thoughts. So love hearing from you guys. So make sure you guys go ahead and leave a comment. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys go ahead and give me a big thumbs up. If you dislike the video, please go ahead and give me a big thumbs down. And make sure you go ahead and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on any future content, including a ton more Hot Toys reviews. I think I have at least one a month coming for the rest of the year. So there's going to be a ton of reviews. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe. Don't miss out on any of that content. And once again, that's going to do it for me this evening. Thank you guys so much for checking out these videos. And I'll catch you guys later. See ya.